Pennsylvania Republicans enjoy a clean sweep of voter registration gains ahead of primary election. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video. Today, it is time to talk about the 2024 presidential election because everyone, Pennsylvania Republicans might have just made history yesterday as they swept every single county in voter registration. Yeah, you heard that right. Republicans gained in every single county. Not just some of them, not half of them, no. Every single county, they had a net gain in voter registration. This is huge. This usually doesn't happen, especially in a state like Pennsylvania. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Now, let us get into it because this is just shocking. No one thought that this was going to happen, especially in a swing state. You only see these type of numbers in a deep red state, or hell, even a deep blue state. You never see one party gain in every single county like Pennsylvania Republicans just did. 4 years ago, the prospect of a competitive presidential primary led to some relatively strong voter registration reports for Pennsylvania's Democratic Party. Yet as 2020 progressed, that contested primary never came, and the summer and fall registration reports were far more encouraging for the Pennsylvania GOP. Nevertheless, Biden was ultimately able to win back the Keystone State in November. So Pennsylvania Democrats can take just a bit of solace in the fact that these latest voter registration trends can only tell us so much about future election results. And that's true. Voter registration usually doesn't mean anything. Usually you have a bunch of, former Democrats that vote Republican, but still register as Democrats and vice versa. That's why voter registration usually is not a good statistic to use. But that doesn't mean we should just ignore the overwhelming nature of these numbers. Since I first started tracking voter registration trends in Pennsylvania, Republicans have generally eaten into Democrats' historic advantage. This is the first time I can recall, however, that the GOP posted gains in all 67 counties throughout the Commonwealth. You heard that right. This is the first time, at least according to this guy that's been tracking voter registration data, the Republicans gained in every single county. That doesn't happen. This includes parts of Pennsylvania that are shifting Democrat. Furthermore, the comparison to the last presidential cycle is particularly stark. Back during the COVID-delayed voter registration deadline in May 2020, the Democratic advantage was 803,000 votes. Today, it stands at 397,000. In that time, 122,000 more voters have joined the rolls, yet Democrats have lost 195,000 registrants as Republicans gained 210,000. All the while, independent voters who chose either no affiliation or some other party rose 108,000 people. Do you know what that means? These aren't just ancestral Democrats in Southwestern Pennsylvania. That's the cope many people are saying that, well, these are just former Democrats that are flipping Republican now, but that doesn't mean they're actual, new Republicans. That's false. Not only have Democrats lost a bunch of people, Republicans gained even more. Even the shift since last October is significant. Back then, the Democratic advantage was 445,000. Over this period, Democrats lost 4,500 registrants, while Republicans gained 44,000, and independents added 26,000. Therefore, let's dive into the regional breakdowns in order to dig deeper into this movement. So even since October, Democrats have been losing voters, while Republicans have gained 44,000. And of course, independents have gained as well. So Democrats can't use the excuse of, well, this could just be a fluke. This is just Republicans gaining a bunch of former Democrats and that's it. That doesn't seem to be what's happening. Because if that was the case, it would be a couple thousand, net gain of 4,000 or whatever. Republicans have gained 44,000. So let's go by region. Look at Central Pennsylvania. This isn't a surprise. Central PA is super Republican. This is no shock to anyone that Republicans gain in this region. But what's stunning is the amount of voters they're gaining. Because for years, everyone has been saying, well, Central Pennsylvania, which is one of the most Republican parts of the Commonwealth, they're maxed out. There's no way they can gain any more voters. In nearly every single county, they gained at least 100 voters. At least 100. With a lot of them having 438, 396, 218, 411. That's a lot of Republicans. This isn't just, a couple dozen. There's a couple thousand new Republicans just in this region in what? A couple months? That's incredible. But even Centre County, which is the most Democrat part of the region, despite that being Democrat, Republicans gained 286. Now, you might be saying, well, these numbers could be inflated because this is a Republican part of the Commonwealth. Surely this is a fluke in the rest of the Commonwealth. It's nowhere near this. That's incorrect. In fact, when you look at some of these other regions, yes, there's more people in some of these areas, but these numbers are nothing compared to some other parts of the Commonwealth. So let's go to Northeastern Pennsylvania. Look at that. Every single county, yet again, gained Republicans. But you notice, there's a couple ones that, not just a couple hundred, a couple thousand. And this is much more significant than Central Pennsylvania, because Northeastern Pennsylvania is not as Republican. In fact, it's light pink. It's barely Republican. In years past, it was way more Democrat. I mean, a place like Lackawanna, Monroe, these are blue-collar counties that should be Republican by now, especially with the Trump coalition. But these counties have been more stubborn than, say, Southwestern Pennsylvania. That's just a fact. But it appears that a place like Lackawanna, and remember, that's where Scranton is. That's where Biden says, I'm from Pennsylvania. I'm Scranton Joe. Remember that? Right now, Republicans gained 1,200 votes in a county that he won by 9,000. If these voters all vote for Trump, that's a big deal. I mean, you're making Lackawanna, which has been Democrat for decades, a Republican county. That's significant. But you keep going and the numbers just get worse for Biden. Like, look at Northwestern Pennsylvania, especially Erie County. This is the county that is the bellwether of Pennsylvania. Trump won it in 2016. He won the state. Biden won it by a point. In 2020, he won the state by roughly a point. He could also argue Northampton, but I really think Erie County is the bellwether. He lost it by around 1,500 votes. In just a couple months, Republicans had a gain of 1,300. If they all vote for Trump, it would be enough for Trump to win the county, especially if you include other registrations later this year. It would be enough. Barely, but it would be just enough. And therefore, if he wins Erie, and it is the bellwether that I think it is, Trump would win Pennsylvania. Barely, but he would end up winning. Now, you also got South Central, but just like Central Pennsylvania, it is very Republican. I mean, look at a place like York. It's Trump plus 25. A place like Franklin, Trump plus 43. This is very Republican. But even then, Republicans are gaining thousands of voters. This is significant. This adds up. Yes, it's a Republican part of Pennsylvania, but everyone thought there's no way they could do much better in Franklin, Fulton, Bedford. Despite that, Republicans are gaining quite a lot of new voters. But you think this is quite a bit. Like, okay, 1,000 to Lancaster, 2,200 to York. That's quite a bit. that pales in comparison to what's happening in southeastern PA. And this is what took everyone by surprise. Now, southeastern Pennsylvania, for years, especially Chester, Delaware, and Montgomery, they have been shifting significantly Democrat. And everyone thought they're just going to shift Democrat until the end of the universe. No one thought they were going to shift back. Republicans were never going to win this area again. It was over. For the first time in a long time, Republicans gained, not in just one county, but in every single part of southeastern Pennsylvania, they gained. Just look at some of these numbers. Philly, 3,500 new Republicans. Northampton, 1,300. Montgomery, 988. Delaware, Delaware, which is shifting very Democrat, 187. Chester, 681. Bucks, 2,400. Bucks County is a county that Biden won by around 17,000 votes. That's important because back in 2020, Democrats held a 15,000 registration advantage in Bucks. Right now, it's down to 1,700. There's a possibility if these new Republicans, all vote for Trump, it could be enough to flip the county. This is significant. Even Philly, which I know it's Philly, there's a lot of people there, but Republicans are gaining a lot of voters. 3,500, that's significant. And of course, southwestern Pennsylvania, even in Allegheny, which is where Pittsburgh is, Democrats or Republicans gained 3,000 or just under. Westmoreland, a suburb of Allegheny, gained 2,500. Now, southwestern Pennsylvania is the one part of this Commonwealth that you can argue, well, there's a bunch of ancestral Democrats left. They still register Democrat, but they vote Republican. They finally flipped. But even then, that doesn't explain why Republicans gained in every single county. In most of them, they gained a couple hundred, if not a couple thousand. And even if that was a case that, all right, southwestern Pennsylvania, these are just Democrats that have voted Republican for 20 years. They finally flipped. Fine, you could argue that. But what about southeastern Pennsylvania? Chester and Delaware? Are there ancestral Democrats here? No. These are, in fact, there's ancestral Republicans. Despite that, Republicans gained. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.